All right, it is recording. It's good to go. Take us away, Ernie.
Hello and welcome to the special episode on how to triumph as a goat.
We're really getting into a theme here, aren't we? We get
We
into
on
a
a
rhythm.
Can you tell it's 11:30 at night?
Is it? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. My name's Jay, and join with me my two beautiful co-hosts, both Alex and Sean. Say hello.
Say hello.
What's up?
And then from there, we're here to recap a recent tournament that both the boys, not myself, went to down in Victoria. And I feel like all we're doing is shouting out Conquest Creations because he ran this he ran this tournament.
He's our sponsor. He sponsors all our videos. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Alex, talk us through the event. What were the missions? Was it veto? How many points? Rounds? Anything else
course.
that we need to know that I couldn't be bothered to type?
Also, got to shout out Aragorn with no beard. It's really funny once you say it.
Oh, that's
Once you see it, it's so good. So while you guys enjoy that, Triumph was a 500-point tournament. Was 1 day, 4 rounds. There was no veto. The missions were chosen beforehand by Jacob, and we were told round by round what scenario we were playing. I did have a chat to him after I submitted my list, all legal, because he wanted to pick 4 balanced or different scenarios. And so the scenarios chosen were Breakthrough, which I love. I think it's one of my favorite objective scenarios. Assassination, which is spicy fog of war, which again, interesting. I love the those hidden objective scenarios. Destroy the supplies. It's a good
my
one.
favorite scenario.
Really?
Yeah,
Love that.
As a shooting player, I like it too much.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Again, a good object scenario. You got to spread out. You got to attack and defend. You got to balance that out. And the final one, domination, which was 2 objective scenarios. Do we care? No, because it's a good scenario.
Yeah, I think domination's got to be up there as one of the most balanced scenarios in the game.
Yep. I wouldn't even mind if they had the objectives in specified locations. If they are 15 inches out in each corner, they're 12 inches apart from the middle, and they're set.
Yeah.
Because it's just, because it ends up being relatively similar anyway. But yeah, just solid scenarios. But yeah, we were only told round by round which scenarios we were playing. The only other thing is, I guess, the round matchups. It was a modified Swiss system. So if you were 12-0 after your first game, you wouldn't play the person that was also 12-0. You would play the lowest placed person on 1 win. So the idea there was to give those people an advantage for actually doing well, instead of just being a tiebreaker. Because otherwise they do well, they pip some VPs, and then they just have to face someone even harder. Let's get into it.
The only other thing is
yes.
There was 38 players.
Yeah, 38 players, and before we had fill-ins come, because people obviously pulled out on the day, we had no yellow alliances, no Witch King, no Soledad.
Yeah, and 6 people called Matt.
One of our fill-ins did end up bringing a yellow alliance. We're not going to talk about him because
Yucky.
No Witch King Soledad. We don't know what we're doing down here.
How are we supposed to play the game?
Ridiculous. Full disclosure, I made this PowerPoint just to mess with people. So for stuff that doesn't make sense, please leave a comment on how much you dislike it.
I'm
oh my god!
So mad.
Please like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and comment on this page.
So that way people... Get in the comments.
Yeah,
Tell us how good Win Lancers actually are.
Yeah, roast us so we can roast you.
Sean, take us through your list, mate.
500 points, 33 models, 15 bows with the potential of 17 shots because of my leader, Girion. So, Warband 1, we have Girion with his great bow. You love to see it. 3 Knights of Dale, 4 Warriors of Dale with Esgaroth bow, 3 Warriors of Dale with spear and shield, 1 Warrior of Dale with banner and shield. I thought someone was laughing there for a second. No,
that was my chair. I was just sitting up. Don't mind me.
We've got Warband 2, Captain of Dale with an Esgaroth bow. He's got 3 Knights of Dale, 4 Warriors of Dale with Esgaroth bow, 3 Warriors of Dale, Spear and Shield, and then an identical warband minus 1 Knight. So a pretty simple standard army. Nothing too fancy going on, but as mentioned, a lot of pew-pews.
A lot of pure. It's just, I think I talked to you, maybe at lunch. But I was just kind of like, it's just so solid. It just kind of, it shoots well. It's got D6. It's fight 4. Girian's a nice, just mid level hero. It's just pretty solid.
The way I kind of like to look at it is it's without going too deep into the maths, because that's not who I am as a war gamer, but it is basically just an army of averages. You're averaging everything. You're hitting 3+ shooting. You've got 4+ fight. Your strength 3, which is whatever. Your courage is good. Everything is just good. The shooting is incredible, but everything else is just good. The D6 on those Dale Knights, when they got introduced into Dale, is, I'll be honest, probably one of the most overpowered things that has ever been put into an army. Dale should not have D6. It's stupid.
Yeah, and if you looked at any other army and put them in, you'd be like, that's fine. It's the fact that Dale got it. And it's like, why? We didn't need it.
Didn't need it. Like, I would happily take, and I did it for many years, Dale without Knights, and it does a very similar job. Just those D6, and now the ability with those Knights of the Blade of Spear, Wall of Spears, or whatever it's called.
Blades, yeah.
Wall of Blades.
For 11 points, dude.
Silly.
Premium.
Silly.
And premium. This is really solid. Would you say that Dale kind of caps out at that 500 point mark? Like, and above, like, say for example, if you were to scale this up to 750, 800 points, would we be having the same conversation like what we're having right now?
Absolutely not. I think 500 points, they sit perfectly as a 500 point army. You start moving up to 600 points, they're very good still at 600 points. 700 points, you start going, oh, is that Army of Thrall? Maybe I'll bring in Army of Thrall with some Grim Hammers. So once you hit that 700 up mark, that's when you start allying in Army of Thrall. And that, as an army, is brutal. Some people might be aware that I was able to place second at a 1,000-point event with a Dale Army of Thrall alliance at the G-Dub Australian MESBG Championship a year or so ago. So it is very, very good. Yes. Lost out to Hobbits, who came first.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, 500 points is the golden spot for Dale.
I had a feeling, because it's really hard. You've still got decent numbers. We were debating whether we could try and get some more numbers or put some spears, here and there. But I think where you're sitting currently, I'm playing 650 and I've only got 35 models. So I don't shoot as hard. It's cool. It's proper solid. And you've got a fair bit of might backing up some of those shots too, which is premium.
100%.
Okay, Alex. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, I can't believe we were making fun of how long it was taking you to read out your army list, and now I've got to go through this. So yeah, my current project was Moria. There we go. He's toxic. So my idea was I wanted to paint lots of dudes, because I had lots of dudes I wanted to paint.
Who the fuck ever says that?
Weird.
I that's what I do. I look at the next tournament and I go, what am I going to paint next? And I paint.
How can I stress myself out to the
every
max?
Every time I remember like living with parents and stuff, and they would be like, it's like 2 a.m. the Friday night before a tournament. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm painting black rims on my bases. Obviously, I've woken up the day of the tournament and gone, I gotta put some dirt down and do some base rims. It's bad. It's bad. But it gets through the pile of shame. It does stops you eating away at the heart of you. And then you just buy more models and feel it anyway. So for this big spam list, 45 models, by the way. And if you notice, a lot of shooting. Derbers, a shieldman, 4 spear, 4 bow, 2 prowler, bat swarm. Remember that boy. Good boy.
Big
Good
boy.
boys?
It's just the lads.
Groblog, shield, 3 spear, 3 bow, a warrior with nothing because I had 4 points, and 2 prowlers. A captain with shield. I probably should have taken a bow, but I took a shield with 3 spear, 3 bow, 2 prowlers. A shaman, a regular one, with 2 spear, 2 bow, prowler. Black shield shaman with 2 spear, 2 bow, prowler. So I believe it was 8 prowlers over 13 bows ish, which is a lot. And then, yeah, I just got all the quintessential heroes. Derbers is just a Chad. The 12-inch standfast, he has strike, he has defense. Groblog with the crown. Oh, love it. It's so good. Getting up to fight 3 and 4 on regular guys. Getting up to fight 5 with prowlers. Derbers getting up to fight 6.
It's huge, man.
It's just, and the whole point is there's so many things to deal with. There's just so many bases on the table. And the bat is just the answer for anything big.
Yeah.
And plus the shaman. Because the whole point is I just need to delay the big heroes just cutting through my lines. And so I chuck some shatters. If I have leftover will, I might throw a tremor. Meanwhile, the black bat swarm just sits there and either grabs an objective or waits for your hero to expose themselves and overplay. And I just jump on you, put everything on him, kill it. Hopefully.
Love it. Love it. Okay, let's get into this. Hopefully, game 1. None of these photos match up, by the way.
I don't think anyone took a single photo of my army. I didn't either, so hell yeah.
This does. My game 1 was against that exact Gondor.
Oh, that is your Dale. Oh, hell yeah.
Here we go.
Let's go through your game 1 then. Oh,
yeah,
sorry, Jake.
so we'll go Sean, then we'll go Alex. I think we'll just kind of keep that order so I don't have to say, all right, Sean, all right, Alex.
I'm going to keep my games really, really quick, and Alex's as well, because there is one game in particular that we really want to touch on. So my game 1 was against a banner-mounted Boromir Gondor list with Madril and then a buttload of tin cans, a couple of sit guard. I think there was one on horse and a couple of Minister of Knights here and there. And this was in what was round 1 again? Please remind me. Breakthrough. This was in Breakthrough. Game started off with my opponent deploying first on the center line. I deployed diagonally as far back as possible to maximize my shooting, and I essentially just let him walk to me whilst I just showered him with shots. Didn't actually do too much of my shooting. My shooting was not that effective this game. I wanted to force him to split his army to go on to other objectives, which he split off, I want to say about 5, 6, 7 troops, which I was then able to counter because I just outnumbered him something crazy. And then it just turned into a game of me wrapping and trapping as much as I could. Besides 2 Warriors of Minas Tirith that were just defiant the entire game, and I kept throwing models at them and they wouldn't die. His lines just crumbled. Boromir did some solid work. Probably the only model that really got any kills on my opponent's side. But I was perfectly fine with watching Boromir use his 6 might for moves and marches whilst, I didn't have to worry about him. He killed a bunch of stuff. There are a couple of combats that maybe didn't make a lot of sense where he combated off of 1 troop and then combated into a second troop, so only killed 2 models. So maybe not the most ideal plays there, but I do believe he was a slightly newer player and has only been playing for a couple of months. And he's figuring it all out, but he made it a tough game, and the game ended in a 1-point victory to me, as those 2 Warriors of Minas Tirith that were defiant just held my lines up something crazy.
I assume you, strength 3, and you're just trying to whack each other. But you got so many guys that eventually roll the 6. Yeah.
At one point, I had 4 Warriors of Dale trapping them. I rolled 8 dice, couldn't kill it. There were, I want to say, 3 turns in a row. I had at least minimum 3 models trapping these 2 guys and could not kill them. They just stood there. They would not fucking die.
Respect. Alex, how was your game?
My game one was good fun. So I was facing a army of Thrall. So it was Thrall, I think basically a full warband of Guardians of the King. So those are Grimhammers with strength 4. And then a Captain of Erebor and some spears. And that was it. It was, I think, low 30s in the models. And he basically deployed right on the middle line. And I think I deployed essentially 11 inches back. I was happy to let him take space and come to me. I wanted him to overextend, try and hit my line. We're playing on a very dense direct deep board. Shout out to Mr. Conquest. And I wanted him to try and engage my line. If he only engaged part of it, I wrap into him. If he tries to spread out across my entire line, I still wrap into him. So I was happy either way. It did take, I think it took him 3 turns because his first turn was not directly at me. It was kind of to the side, trying to get some throwing axes. And it just meant I could play away some shots. I think I got 3, maybe 4 Grimhammer kills, but that's still massive. I was at 45 models. He was at, I'm going to say, mid-20s. And so dropping those couple Grimhammers is massive. We got into combat. And he charged me first, and just again, it was the way the terrain was working. He only hit me with about half his force, and it meant his center with Thrall, and the captain was off on a flank just trying to grab a side objective and get me out of a building. But Thrall was a turn off, and it meant that his 2 little flank forces, everyone went around the back, ignored the middle. I'm not going to charge them. Who cares? And that first turn, I lost 1 Prowler. And I think I killed 8 Grimhammers in combat.
Oh,
those Prowlers in the fight 4 was gross. Thrall was too far away to give a banner to most of them. I don't care about a banner. I'm just gonna stab him to shit. You have Prowlers winning on 4s, yeah.
Yeah, because they get the plus 2.
Yeah, so +1 for the 2-handed weapon, +1 for backstabbers. So for them being trapped, +1 fight for trapping. It was a rough turn, and then it was just a matter of me not being dumb, realistically, because I'd had so many models, and I was just being annoying, calling heroic moves, and it was kind of, if you don't call it, I get to trap you more. If you do call it, sure. And then it got to 1 turn where Thrall finally got into combat, killed a couple dudes, combat into some more just to try and kill numbers, and he was on my back objective, which is not a good place for him to be. And he won priority. And I didn't call. And my opponent was like, "Oh, it's weird. I thought you would call a heroic move." I'm like, no, it's all good. Thrall goes into I think 2 Prowlers. And his guys kind of spread out to get more kills. And there was just a big space behind Thrall. And I went, "Oh, interesting." And my bat had been sitting on a building the entire time, just sitting there watching him, just waiting. In this whole time as well, my shatter did nothing. It was sick. The bat flies in. Groblor gets a combat and calls a heroic combat, joins in. Of course. I think I'd called a strike with him as well. Someone else had called the combat for him. And I went, sick. Let's go. I then proceeded to do, I think it was 7 wounds or 8 wounds. Because all these Prowlers are piercing, they're just winning on 4s by 2s. Groblor's winning on natty 6s. There's bat on for 6s by 4s. So I did 7 or 8 wounds with whoever was spear supporting as well. He rolled a 3 on his first Arkenstone. Lights it to a 4. He then proceeds to roll 3 more 4+, and I'm sitting there going, no, this dude's going to survive after all this work I put in. He then rolls, he fails it, takes 3 wounds, dies. I'm like, sick. Bat then just flies off to my back objective, grabs it, and unfortunately just not enough left to do. Once Thrall was off the board as well, it's just not a lot of play back. So that was a 12-0. So a nice start to the day.
Big one. All right, well, let's jump into...
Whoa!
See here, I put a lot of thought into this. 2 goats get drawn for round 2.
Oh, it's funny.
Draw me like one of your goats. So yeah, round two. So as we talked about that, the way that pairs are drawn, because you got in a 1 point win and I got in the 12-0. We were the top and bottom of the pack, so we got drawn against each other.
We did. We did.
Um,
And this was a spicy game.
Spicy
of-
meatball.
I feel like I want to preface this game with this was a game where both of us played our armies perfectly. Alex counted my misplays, I counted his misplays, but the dice hated both of us.
Oh, dude.
Brother,
I wish there
the
was
amount
a
of
photo of us just when we were sitting next to each other near the end. We'll get into why that was, but
at one point, Alex says, Sean, do you need to take a minute?
we just had to going twos again.
And then we started doing dumb maths, like looking up at the wall, and there was like a Modern Horizons 3 with a one-piece banner next to each other. And we go, oh, what's, divided 2 into 4, and it's the 2s, and there's 1s.
It's like
and
3 minus 1 is 2. They keep showing off the dice.
Yeah,
Oh,
1s and 2s was the name of this game. That's all we.
rough.
that's
So
all
we're
we
playing
got.
Assassination,
Yes.
which is already interesting because I have 4 heroes that are my leader. You have the 2 captains, and we kind of like almost a gentleman agreement of I know I'm going to get shot for 2 turns, and I was just kind of like, can you not move back further because it's just going to really suck.
Yeah, I went into this game knowing that I could have sat back and shot. Alex was going to sit at the back of the board and just hide, or I give him that option of, okay, you can either get shot for 2 turns or 3 turns. You get shot for 3 turns if you don't call a march. If you call a march, you only get shot for 2 turns. And that's essentially how it worked out. You ended up calling that march.
Yeah, and I kind of went like, yeah, if you start deploying in the corner, because I obviously outdrop you, I drop my shaman with like 4 dudes and my other shaman with 4 dudes, and I see your whole army. If you just start, if you go too far back, awesome. My guys just all sit at the back, we're chilling, and no one wants that sort of game. So yeah, double march with the captain, and we went for. Do we want to discuss assassination choices and things? Because I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's big. You can.
So
start
yeah,
off.
I obviously had to choose one of the captains. It was interesting because my choice was that you were stuck between 2 pieces of terrain. One of them was you can actually see it right there. Let me pull out my handy dandy pen. It was exactly like that. And so I could jump over and through it. And the other one was a hard piece of terrain that I couldn't get past. And I don't know why. I chose the one next to the impassable piece of terrain that I can't get through. I don't know why. I then also proceeded to put my heroes at the other side and went, oh, that was a mistake. But yeah, I chose that captain for no real reason. They're both the exact same. And Groblog was my assassin. It feels like it was always going to be him or the captain.
Yeah.
But it was just the fact that he has strike, he has 3 might, he's just more consistent. I didn't care if you chose to assassinate him. I have heroic defense. I have defense 6. I'm not too crazy about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I didn't have to worry about who Alex was going to choose. I've got 2 captains that are identical. He's going to choose one of them. So I didn't have to worry about that. It did mean I did have to play a lot more cagey with my captains and really have to consider what Alex was doing when it came to how he was playing for me to go, all right, he's chosen that particular captain over this one. So I don't have to be as cagey with the other one. In terms of my target, who I chose, I actually went with Alex's shaman.
The regular one, not the black
shield. The regular shaman, not the black shield shaman. So the big reason behind that was, 1, I didn't think Alex would think that I was going to choose that shaman. 2, I assumed that shaman's going to be chilling with the lines most of the game with Fury and just hanging out there. It's not as if it's just going to run off. The Black Shield Shaman can cast its magic. It goes, I've got nothing else to do. I run away. And I was more than confident that I could punch a hole through Alex's line and dive straight into that shaman, which I did.
So yeah, and the thing is, I think you killed. I'm gonna say, was it like at least 9 dudes in shooting. It was 9
with
or 11.
shooting.
It was one of them.
I'm pretty sure it was 9. Yep.
Which hurt for sure. Because the name of the game is always, I need to get around your flanks to trap you and get my abilities and all that juicy stuff. And you were obviously going to try and hold the flanks, punch through the middle. And it was just a game of who does it faster. And we did it. I think somehow, and we kind of, I don't know how, because on the approach, I did shatter your banner.
Yes.
Which I rolled a 2. I used a might point just to confirm it straight away with the Black Shield Shaman. And I proceeded to not do anything. I think I tried to shatter Girian's sword. I rolled a 1 or 2, didn't work. I did attempt a tremor on like
that tremor stressed me out.
I managed to just fling around the corner and just go. I was still behind the lines, and I went, I can hit like 6 guys here.
Yeah.
And with strength 6 hits, and like 2 or 3 of them were knights. And I was like, it's 1 dice, but if it goes off, the whole flank goes down.
Obviously, what did you roll?
I obviously don't cast it a 2, obviously. I love this game. It's yay. And then it was just we charged in, and I don't know. I just killed stuff.
There was one turn where you went from having killed 2 of my models, which I'm like, this is fine. He's only killed 2. To suddenly, I'm like 5 off breaking.
You're like, what?
Oh, my
and it wasn't even like prowlers doing stuff. It was just regular dudes.
Yep. And I couldn't for the life of me, like, I couldn't get a kill. I would win a fight and roll a 1 or a 2. I would trap you, win a fight, roll a 1 or a 2. And it's just like,
I think the knights maybe killed like 1 dude when I charged them. I did not respect them at all, and they didn't do anything.
No.
It was wild.
Yeah.
So the main thing is, the heroes. Let's talk about the hero stuff. So I finally got through the impenetrable side. So I'd been jumping over through that piece of terrain on your right flank. Yep. Didn't really do a heap, but I managed to punch through on the right side. Don't know how. Well, math rocks go click clack.
Yeah.
And I got a turn of priority, and I don't know what happened to the spear support behind the captain. He just wasn't there. And so my bat, who had been kind of chilling there, managed to pincer the captain from both sides, kind of shield off the bat so you couldn't pull him off. Groblog was setting up for heroic combat to combat into the captain. I'm sitting there going, I'm going to get my assassination off. The issue was that heroic move only got half my line. And I'm a big dum-dum. So I had left the middle open for Dale people to run through. And my shaman, who was supporting my captain to get the thing, I had him supporting. And then as Sean started to do his normal move, I was just sitting there, just kind of in my own world, and went, I'm probably going to move actually into base contact with your captain. And I was like, it probably won't matter. And Sean went, it might actually. And I went, I was like,
this is everything.
So all I had to take was an extra 5 seconds to look at the board before I passed my move phase over, because Girian went, you're mine. Sorry.
Yeah. There was
you're mine.
A gap that was just wider than 25. It was perfect for me to slot troops through.
Oh.
And I've measured Girian to the shaman, and I've gone,
fuck.
Oh,
I think he's in.
Okay.
So
Girian,
a friend, and 2 spear supports as well.
Yep.
Oh.
And then Alex goes, yep. Oh, I'm just going to do this. It's not going to change anything. I'm like, brother, this changes everything.
So I was left him there. You charge. And then it was this insane turn of my Durbers on the other flank called a combat, just to peel off spear supports from that fight. Groblog calls a combat to go into his target.
Yeah.
Girian didn't even
Girian calls a heroic combat to try and go first, so that I could get as many dice off on that shaman and then potentially split off and hit other shit. Yeah. It was just...
it was insane. We ended up having Durbers went first, and I had the choice. And I went, I can just get into the captain, or I got to try and mess up your heroic combat. So I went for messing up your heroic combat. Durbers killed his dude, charged himself into your 2 spear supports, and I went, that's all I can do. Giri and the friend go for the shaman, and I'm sitting there going, obviously he's the target. You're gonna get, if you kill him, you get 5 points because he's not your assassin, which is fine. You win the fight, and I
Keep
think
in mind, so my assassin was on the other side
other
of
side,
the fucking
yeah.
board. Pierre was
Pierre
on
was
a side
chilling.
quest.
How many wounds
Pierre
did you
could
do?
not. I did. Did I do 3 wounds? I know that he
Onto the
survived on 1
shaman?
wound, no fate. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you would have done then max 2.
2 then. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
on
So I
defense
did 2.
4.
Yeah,
And it was just sitting there going, not only did you not kill the guy you need to kill, your hero combat didn't go off ever.
yeah.
And I went sick, and Groblog combated, went into your other captain who had a bat and the other captain on him, and I went sick. And I
7 points, baby.
I stabbed that boy so hard. Oh, baby.
God.
And I was like,
Yeah.
sick. I'm up 7. Obviously, that was your target. So I'm sitting there going, I'm up 7-1. You might get 5 points there, but I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And then that's when my dice went, it's 2 mode, baby. And your dice
Yeah.
went, I want to do what they're doing.
Came in.
I don't
big.
think I can talk about the next couple turns without
That's fair.
raging violently. So I think you should take the lead.
There's not too much really to talk about except for the conclusion of that. Apart from my dice turned on, I killed so many goblins, broke Alex, and then it all came crashing down.
Also, this is after I broke you first somehow.
Yes, you
After
broke me
all
first
that,
somehow.
it's crazy.
That shouldn't really happen, but anyway.
Yeah.
No, Alex has moved the shaman away, and there's no way for me to get to the shaman with anyone. I was completely zoned out from that shaman, and we were basically on the last turn at this point. So I was like, bugger it, I'll just not charge a bunch of goblins, and I'll try and get myself into positions where I do have a heroic combat to potentially get into the shaman. That didn't go off from memory, but I just killed a bunch of stuff. A lot of goblins ran away. Next turn, the important turn. Alex, take some courage checks, baby. Goblin shaman.
Oh, we have to talk about this first. The previous turn, he went, I need to keep my boys around because we're broken
yes.
and I want to keep on the board. 2 dice, Fury, nothing.
That's right.
So
I thought that was this turn. That's right. That's right.
Keep it in that.
2 dice Fury doesn't go off.
Of course not.
Next turn.
Too high.
Time for courage checks. Fails his courage. Goblin shaman runs off the board, netting me my 5 points, baby.
Keep going.
It was.
Keep going.
No, Alex, I want you to relive this torture.
Wanna...
No.
To be fair, after the video we just did with Sean, I feel like Alex has to.
The common baby, yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, so Goblin Shaman runs away, netting me my points. I get a heroic combat with Pierre, one of my captains, into Durbers, who is Alex's leader. You should have won that fight, and I can't remember why you should have won that fight. I know Girion pulled off a bat swarm.
It was also the fact that, so let's cut to the, Pierre goes in by himself. I had a spear support and a friend in there. I obviously lose the fight, and I obviously die because that makes sense. The issue was that, so it ends up being, I get 7 points for killing you with my assassin and a break point. You get 5 points for killing me with not your assassin and a break point and 2 leader points. So it's an 8-8 draw. It was the turn before that when Girion was trapped by Durbers, a spear support, and a bat, and I didn't win the fight.
That's right.
I just needed to win the fight and do a wound, and I would have been fine. And I rolled I think it was a 2 high.
Yeah, something crazy.
That was the start of my descent into madness. Yeah.
Girion wins the fight. Girion wounds.
You did the first wound. I failed both fate. And that's when, Pierre walks in, does the last wound, and gets you the 2 points on the last roll of the dice.
On the last roll of the game. That's right. I forgot about that big one with Girion. I remembered it as Pierre walking in and just killing
was Girion. I was sitting there going, oh, this is so good. You're trapped. You've got a bat. I got my leader going to whack you. And so by drawing, we both took out our chances of winning the tournament. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we both cucked each other, which was great. Appreciation post.
Me and the boys depressed.
I've never felt
That's the
so
best segue ever.
I've never felt so somber about a draw. The two of me and Alex packed up our models. We walked away from the table separately just to like figure out what the fuck was going on in our heads.
Don't zoom in on my cock.
we departed and then we eventually came together, but we were both just we were so drained mentally and physically. It did not it was a really good game, but it did not feel like a good game.
It felt like none of us got the what am I thinking
initiative,
of?
I guess.
Oh no,
the ball
even
rolling.
we didn't get the reward for all the effort we put in.
Oh, yeah,
that was it.
That's it.
We'd put in so much and we'd worked and we'd played to our outs and got them, and it just and it felt like the dice just did us in.
If you're sitting there and you got your assassin in for the kill, you're up 7 points. It's almost like you just go on damage control for the rest of the game, right? But to pull that shit off with such circumstances, failing the fury, failing the courage, losing your model, and then gearing on the last roll of the bloody game, pulling that clutch kill, like, Jesus, what a game!
Yeah, that's it. Alex got his reward, and then it was swiftly taken away from him.
Yeah. You also passed so many courage. That first turn you broke, you passed so many courage tests, and I was sitting like, it's not even worth it. It's not...
Yeah, it was.
We spoke about that at the start. It's good. Like, Dale has good courage.
It has solid. Yeah, it's just playing
courage
averages.
3-4. Yeah. It's big. It's very good.
On average.
But yeah, no, that was a spicy game, and I loved every second of that game.
It was good fun. Yeah.
Just us two sitting out on those rocks.
I'm really glad it was average because that first turn of shooting, I sat there going, it was one of those like come to Jesus moments. You're like, oh, that sucks. And by the time I got to the other side of the table, I just went to Sean like, hey, can I just sit over there? And he was like,
we were rubbing knees.
We sat side by side and just rolled out the dice. That was good.
That's great. That's great. Let's move swiftly on. In case you can't tell, these are actually two different pictures that have been put together with a nice little line to form.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh wait, those are my goblins.
Those are your goblins.
They're half painted, but they are my goblins.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I clearly looked at the pictures before I put them in. Game 3.
Oh, well.
Sean, who'd you verse game 3?
So I versed one of the Conquest Communities members, Sir Marcus, and he was running Khazad-dûm. So he had a Dwarf King, he had a King's Champion, and then he had a bunch of, they're not the Hearthguards, Khazad Guards. Bunch of
Ballista as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, Ballista, Khazad Guard. A surprising amount of Dwarf bows that shocked me at the end of the game when he suddenly went, I'm going to take 6 or 7 shots. And I went,
where?
Got that many? What?
It's in destroy the supplies as well. So those bows are really helpful.
Yeah. So Marcus pops down his ballista first on one side of the table with a beautiful, beautiful line just down the middle of the board, essentially, off to the middle of the board, which I have to dart between if I want to like protect 2 of my objectives. He deploys that. He deploys the rest of his army with the King's Champion on his left side of the board, and his Dwarf King on the left side of the board, but closer to the middle. I deploy one of my captains to the far left of my side, just holding one objective, and Girion and the other captain, there's this nice little choke point on my side of the table. There's a tower, there's a big central piece, and there's a weird gribbly bit of terrain with like 2 choke points that I'm like, cool, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna let him slowly funnel through them, and I'm gonna wrap and trap, and I'm gonna slingshot through. And it was working perfectly. My deployment was great. My shooting was subpar. I got a couple of kills here and there, but that's par of the course going against D7, D6 dwarves. Girion only rolled 1s when shooting to hit all game. So that was fun. Really enjoyed that.
I don't even think he got a kill against me. He was atrocious. 2s, obviously.
Game 1, 2, and 3, Girion probably got 2 kills max with his bow. It was atrocious. Very unlike Girion. The dwarves are funneling through. I'm getting my kills. Marcus gets his dwarf king into a beautiful spot where he gets a single shot off, killing a bowman of mine, which allows him to heroic combat into Girion, which somehow he fails to win that fight. And then Girion goes, haha, I'm safe for the rest of the game now, and runs away. So that was a big moment where Marcus could have really capitalized. And that was early on. That was like turn 2 of combat or something along those lines. But as the game proceeds, I'm sitting there super confident. Unless a statistical anomaly hits, I don't lose this game. I win this game.
I've heard this one before.
Bro, I have 3 turns planned out perfectly, and there was nothing Marcus could do to stop this. Like I was sitting pretty. I was up on kills. Like it was great. I was feeling good. It was very nice. And then Marcus wins every single combat, and every single combat he kills every single model. And I lose 8 models in a turn, and I go, there's that statistical anomaly. Sick. I can't break out and run onto the objective, so I'm playing for a draw. And that's what I did. I spent the rest of that game zoning his models out, keeping them in spots, shielding, making sure that I didn't break, just sitting there like a madman. Just like I had to pull stuff out of my bum to play this defensively. It was wild. I was sweating. And it ended up that by the end of the game, Marcus was 2 models off breaking me, which he should have done in that last turn. I don't know how that didn't happen. It should have happened. I reserved myself to the fact that I'd lost this game when I was like, he's only got 2 models left to break me, and that's his 2 points or whatever to win the game. Doesn't break me. I don't break him. There's no leader wounds, which he could have got earlier in the game if the King's Champion didn't whiff against Girion. And the game ended in a 0-0 draw.
How sad is that?
Yeah. And now I don't want to knock Marcus, because Marcus played a very, very good game. Marcus did everything that he needed to do. The dice before that one turn where he just walloped me were not in his favor at all. So yeah, it was a spicy game. He had some very good flanking actions, which I had to hold off with like 1 or 2 models, or 2 or 3 models, sorry. And yeah, it was.
Jesus. How was your game 3, Alex? What did you vote?
I was playing a Rohan Lothlorien alliance. So it was Theodred and Haldir.
Yeah.
And some lads. So it was mainly I think it was 2 mounted outriders and some royal guard on foot with throwing spears, and then just a generic mishmash of elves. No sentinel, but just some warriors with bow, like a wood elf with bow, banner, and then like 2 or 3 of the fight 6 lads, and then some warriors. And that was it. Nothing too crazy. And it was this interesting conversation where we were kind of like, I have the shooting, even though they're goblins. I have a lot of shooting. And then Haldius sat in the tower the whole game and just started destroying me. And I don't know why. That dude was roided up and just taken no prisoners. And he just sat in the building the whole time. That's it. He didn't care. And I was like, damn, that's... yeah, fair.
That sucks.
And so I got to a point where I went, I am not trading positively in any way, even though I have more guys. I think I killed maybe 3 models in shooting, and I'd lost like 10. And I went, probably not good. And I'd been like slowly advancing up the board and things, and I went, the tempo of this game is not good enough. And I double marched up the board and went, cool, let's go for it. Let's do it. So I left. I was basically all on my left basically everything was on my left side. The middle I left completely open, essentially. And then I had some stragglers, kind of the shaman, some prowlers, and some lads just to hold the right side. Because Nilesh had been kind of slowly sneaking dudes around and kind of threatening it. And he found his choke point, and it was very obvious he was just going to chill there. Theodred had been hiding out the back of the board because he didn't want to get baited out, which totally understand, because as soon as he has priority, he has to charge me, and then I dictate when the bat jumps down, and it's not good. Which meant that there was no might on the board for him, because Haldy's up in a tower, Theodred's up at the back, and I was very happy about that. And we were engaging pretty high up next to his objectives. It was then we both looked up at the clock, and it was like half an hour left, and we went, that's not a lot of time. And it just became this mad dash to burn a supply, and what I've been trying to do the entire game, I need to get rid of his banner, because I don't have one, and he has one.
True.
And so I
Shatter.
one dice shatter. But what type of banner is it, Sean? Who's holding that banner?
It's gambling, right?
No. It's
Wait.
either a Rohan guy or an elf. Which one do you think it is?
It's probably an
Elf.
elf, surely.
It's an elf, and what you resistance to magic, of course. So I one dice shatter, and I get a 3, and he rolls a 3, and I'm like, that's fine. And he tucks inside a building, and I'm like, I'll get to him eventually. On the second march, my Black Shield Shaman whips around the corner. He's like, I can see you. 2 dice shatter. I get a 5, and I'm like, not good enough. Might it up to a 6. Of course he rolls a 6. Of course he rolls a 6. You know what the best bit
will
was?
too.
He kept the will. Well, he doesn't have a will.
No,
He's just a
I
dude.
know.
He confused me. The best bit was I had one spearman then walk up to him and kill him. Because he was sitting in the corner of a building, and I went, cool, you're trapped. I won the fight. And I killed him, and I was like, sick, that was
Let's go!
Let's go. And I was like, that was not worth the effort. I should have tromoed or something. And it all came down to, there were about 3 royal guards just sitting on the objective I was trying to go for. The other 2 were basically out of contention. And then for Nilesh on my side, one of them, he was nowhere near. The middle one was still fully exposed, and the one on the right, it was kind of me just standing on it and holding him off. And on that final turn, I managed to finally push the royal guard off just enough, or tie them up at least, so the bat just millimeters touched it, could burn it. We both didn't break. I held onto my right one where the outrider was trying to get me. The issue was Theodred caught a heroic combat and swung onto my back objective, and the next turn sat on it, burnt it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's think back to Theodred's profile. Theodred has to charge. So we went in, handed up our score, and we're like, we both burned a supply, no one broke, it's a 2-2 draw. And then I sat there looking at the board, and I was sitting there like, maybe you shouldn't have held him back, because I know he has to charge. And I went, he has to charge. And so we went, he couldn't have burnt that supply. And Nilesh was very graceful and went, that's my fault. I forgot my model's rule. Take the 2-0. And we discussed it, and he went, no, definitely take it, because I stuffed up. And like, a massive, amazing gentleman. And it was because I thought he was from New South Wales, but he's just there for study. He's a Victorian, so it makes sense now.
He's a good lad.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad at heart. So yeah, 2-0 win, which was a win. Yeah.
Win.
But it's a win. I wish, it just didn't play at a high enough tempo. Probably should have just got into his face, and I probably would have had a better shot at it. But it's how
that's the thing with this tournament, is a 2-0 win is essentially as big as a 12-0 win, because Jacob just had the VPs as tiebreakers. So as long as you're winning,
everything. Yep.
As long as you're winning, you're good.
100%.
Okay, interesting. All right, let's go on to game 4. I think in the interest of time, we'll try and keep this game 4
look, this
within 10 minutes and then wrap it up.
This game for me is a minute or two long. Domination against Army of Thrall, Thrain, Thrall, a bunch of Grimhammers, Guardians of the King where possible.
Wolves at the wazoo, man.
Mate, so many dwarves. So this game, was domination. We deployed our objectives in, decent enough spots. It was fine. My opponent deploys on the middle line. I deploy 2 turns of shooting away from him, as Dale does, 2 to 3 turns behind. And they come forward. First turn of shooting, 6 dead Guardians of the King.
Jeez.
Next turn of shooting,
Don't say it.
3 or 4 dead Guardians of the King.
Enough. Oh, crikey.
Combat hits. I lose nothing. He loses 3 or 4 Guardians of the King. Thrain attempts a heroic combat, fails to win the combat against a Warrior of Dale. The next turn, he starts getting a couple of kills on me, but I also match him 1 for 1 there. Thrain, again, calls a heroic combat, wins the fight, doesn't kill, or kills 1 as opposed to 2 Warriors of Dale who were both D4.
With like, yeah, 3s to wound or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no clean-cut way to put this. His army just crumbled. It disappeared. I got my 3 objective. I got the middle objective, my 2 objectives that I placed, and I just gave up the back 2 objectives because I was like, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm not looking for VPs. I'm looking for wins. And yeah, I just waited for the game to end. I was throwing so many models at Thrain just to be like, well, if I win, I'm going to possibly do a couple of wounds here and there. If I don't, you'll kill 1 or 2 models. That's fine. At Thrall, not Thrain, sorry. Thrain, the dude just, he was nothing. Just whiff. And so I ended up winning that game. Trying to do the quick mental maths. It's like a 6 or 7 nil win. Oh, 6. No, because he would have got his objective. So it was like a 6-4 or 7-4 win for me, something like that.
Yep, sick.
Bloody hell.
And you managed to face the 2 most common lists. I think there were 5 Army of Thralls and 5 Ministry of Boromir lists.
Yes, there were a lot of them.
It's a lot of
prelude into the next slide. Who did you verse?
Yeah, so I was taking on the Chiefs Ruffians, the Legendary Legion. I was so keen. As soon as it popped up, I was like, hell yes, a Horde with Defense 3 and the same fight as me. Oh, give me that. So we obviously put him down. We're playing on the Tor Ithlas board. Shout out to Conquest Creations. So which is the Osgiliath style Gondorian ruined city. And so we're putting down the objectives, and they're all pretty much going in buildings, including the Great Hall. And obviously he's taken, I'm going to say it is Bill Fernie, maybe one of them. Anyway, turn 1, he lights the insane, like 14-inch wide, 10-inch thick Great Hall on fire. Luckily, I was standing outside it because I considered that, but it was so funny for the entire thing because there was an objective in there, and the only way to be in range of it, you had to be at the absolute back end of it, like just outside, like within half an inch of the building. And I was like, that is hilarious. The short end of the thing is though that D3 did not hold up against heaps of goblins.
No, it usually doesn't.
I took a turn of shooting and took some rough casualties, and again, I think it was just I was too excited about having that many bows that I didn't really do anything. So I went, stuff it, marched up, took some whips, they didn't do anything. And then I just got some, he didn't have spears, I have spears. I just hit his line, I got the crown off, and I went sig on 5-3. And then I proceeded to maul them. I even got to the point where I tried to shatter Sid. I think Sid's like the 2-attack banner guy. I tried to shatter his thing, and then I went, oh wait, he has like 3 weapons. He has like a knife and a hammer and a club, and I was like, nah, stuff that. I'm not gonna do that.
Knife whipping club.
Yeah, something crazy like that. So I'm like, you know what?
I'm just checking.
We won't shatter. I'm just gonna tremor. Let's see what happens there. And I 2-dice tremor, and I get it off, and it kills like 6 of them. And I was like, oh, that hits the spot. And I kind of conceded 2 objectives. I tried to get 1 and just neutralize it near the end. Didn't get in range, but I just killed so much. I hadn't broken, and I held 3 of the objectives, and I Durbers shanked Sharky in the last turn. Yeah, the hobbits didn't do much. They tried to throw some stones for a turn, and I went no, and just kind of hid. Like the one turn he stood still, I hid, and then the turn he moved up, I popped back and like 3 prowlers threw a weapon and killed them. So I think it was an 8-4. I think he got 2 objectives. I got 3, and then break and leader. Yeah,
Very nice. Sean, where did you end up in the tournament?
Well, I went undefeated, baby.
hell
It's
yeah.
big.
The
So you would
undefeated.
assume
Talking
that
to the
I
winner.
placed like 5th or something. No, I finished 12th.
2 wins, 2 draws, 12. That's so
Other than that,
rough.
I was like, after my games, and I'm like, oh, cool, 2 wins, 2 losses, undefeated. That's fine. I'm very happy with like a top 7 finish. And then the names are getting read. And then 12th, Sean, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Like, I'm not upset by it at all. Like, I'm more than happy
One
with.
of them was a bloody 0-0 draw, for God's sakes. Like, there's no biggies there.
No, I'm very happy with going undefeated, especially going with Dale, who I haven't, man, like,
I haven't seen you play
again,
in a hot minute, man.
I haven't played Dale in ages since the G-Dub tournament that was a year plus ago now, I want to say. Besides that, I played a game on Conquest Creations, but it's a bat rep. You don't really think about what you're doing. You just go, haha, move models.
You cheated on that one anyway. But
I did. Not me taking 750 points and Jacob taking 650. It's fine.
Hey, it happens. And honestly, the thing is, because you got the 2 draws, so you essentially probably low to mid on like the 3-win group.
Yeah.
I think the 2 draws count as a win, essentially. So you would have been around there. So yeah, it feels rough to go undefeated, but yeah,
it was a very interesting feeling walking away from that tournament, being really proud that I went undefeated with my favorite army in the game, but also going, oh, but I finished 12th.
The fun bit was you actually got a door prize because I think it was like 32nd, 22nd, and 12th got
And
an extra
12th,
prize.
yeah.
And I'm like, this dude doesn't need more widgets.
I got some shout out to PMTT. I got some PMTT widgets, which came with some dice as well. So that was nice. It was nice to walk away with a little something.
Yeah. Respect that. Alex, how'd you go?
So 3-1, but that one was a draw. So I ended up 3rd. The 2 people above me were on just 4 wins, which yeah, and again, all it was that really tight game with Sean that kept me from those upper reaches. But yeah, I'm really happy with the first time I've run Moria, and I loved it so much. It was so much fun. I love the little buffs and things, especially Groblog. The Black Shield Shaman was fun. The Prowlers put in so much work. The Bat is just so. It's not even when it goes into combat. It's when it sits there just looking at you and going, "I'm watching." And as soon as you stuff up, I'm there.
I'm a pounce on you.
I'm
baby.
a pounce, baby.
Imagine a spider and a bat doing that.
Bro. Well, the worst part is when AOL came out, I remember looking at it going, wow, that is like the list I'd love to run. Like it has all the moving components and the magic, and then people started to play it and I went, oh, yuck.
The last slide is I want to talk about the Victorian meta. This is something that typically just never really gets brought up. You know, we always say, what's the Queensland meta? It's like, well, we don't know because we just change lists all the time. Sunshine and beers. You know, what's it like down south? From what I can gather, it's very shield wall heavy.
Apparently, it's fucking dwarves.
Apparently, I think someone like shared around a video of just Jacob talking about Grimhammers because there were so many Grimhammers, which was weird. I don't know what the meta. I'd say people respect shooting in terms of they're either bringing enough of it, whether it's up to a full third, even of armies that don't shoot, just to give them the option, slash to make their opponent consider it. Because against any army, for the most part, if they had a normal, like they took a token 4 archers, I outshoot them. I couldn't do that this game, except against the Grimhammers. The Ruffians outshot me, Sean outshot me, the Lotharian outshot me. Because they committed to going, I have 30 dudes, I have 9 bows. And that's really annoying. when I want to like almost pseudo win the fight without having to actually invest points into shooting. Um,
No, I think if we're
Yeah.
going off of this tournament to
it's actually
look,
500 points as well. Yeah, go for it.
to look into the meta a bit, Jay, I think you've got it spot on there with the whole idea of a shield wall. So high defense base troops. Oh, you're right there.
Oh, I just scared the shit out of me.
Amazing.
Yeah, so shield walls, high defense based troops. You're looking at there was 4 or 5 Ministerial army. So your base D6 if you're running them with a shield, which you do. Shield wall to D7. You've got 4 or 5 dwarf armies showing up. So again, D7 out the wazoo. There wasn't a lot of magic at the tournament, which I feel is very surprising for Victoria.
I think the only thing other than Shaman, which is its own thing, but the only thing I can think of was there was a Necromancer with like 6 Castellans, but that's again
that's
like
right,
a
there was that.
really weird one you don't expect anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about people. They took essentially the budget heroes that can do a lot. 2 of those Boromirs also just had the lands, which I think at 500 is the choice.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like,
Absolutely.
fight 5 is great and all, but if you don't have enough troops to give it to, what's the point?
Yeah, no, but Boromir horse lands at 500 points. That's where you start looking at him. Yeah, he can be brutal there. Yeah, I think that's the meta talk, really.
Respect it. I respect it. 500 is also a very sticky point for Magic as well, so I think that's why you don't see it a whole lot. You can run a budget like Witch King, which lends itself to a bit of Mordor, and that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah,
I think the most magic I think I've seen squeezed in is Jacob once ran just 3 of the White Council, which sucked, and the only other list is my Nomite Angmar, which has done well, but it's just the Dwimmer Lake and 2 Barrow Whites, and that's its own level of yuck. But yeah,
Premium. Alrighty. Well, from me, Sean, and Alex to you and the MGG community. Have a good night.
like and subscribe. Get in there.